Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Sanya On Air, where I connect the big OGs to the little OGs. Now, speaking of big OGs, I just want to send a huge rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. Your physical presence will be missed, but there is one thing that you shouldn't miss. It is every single episode and edition of Sanya On Air, because if you miss a show, you definitely miss a lot. Make sure that you catch Sanya On Air streaming on all major platforms: Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, and on my website, www.sanyaonair.com. Now, Sanya On Air is launching a new segment really soon. I'm excited about this. And the new segment is going to be called Hollywood Chronicles. And I'm asking you to send me your celebrity stories and pictures. Tell me about a time you met a celebrity. I want to know everything, and I mean every single detail. I live vicariously through other people, if you can't tell by now. I want to know, what did you talk about? Did you try to talk to them? Did they engage with you, or did they dish you and walk away? Were you at a celebrity event? Were you walking down the street? Did you run into them in the supermarket or the movie theater? You get the gist. I want to know every single thing about your celebrity encounter, and I'll read them. And if it's chosen, your celebrity or Hollywood Chronicle can make it to an edition of Sanya On Air. All I need you to do is type up your stories. All right, type them up, because sometimes I can't read people's handwriting, and send all of your celebrity stories to Sanya Hudson at she.company. That's Sanyahudson at she.company. And like I said, get your Hollywood Chronicle aired on the next edition of Sanya On Air. Also, if you are an indie artist, send me an email to Sanya Hudson at she.company for ad rates and have your music played. You can't have your music played on my show for free, people. You can't do that. I would love to, spread the love and all those things. But, invest in your brand. If you feel that you're worth it, invest in your brand. And you can email me and I'll share my ad and sponsor rates with you. Now, today I have two dope guests. Coming up later on in the show, I have actor Demetrius Gross. Now, he was supposed to be on the show last week, but we couldn't kind of fit it in. We were having some technical difficulties in the studio. As you can see, we started good today. High five to the engineer over there. I knew it was going to happen. I prayed on it. I was like, you know what? We're going to figure this out. Things happen. Like I told you, this is still a new space for me. So we're all just getting acclimated to different things. There's a whole bunch of other podcasts that air in the space. So sometimes they have to readjust the equipment. So things happen. And you are able to see it in real time. And like I said, I don't edit anything. I just want to make sure that you're able to capture the ins and the outs and the outer workings of what goes on behind the scenes. But like I said, actor Demetrius Gross, he's going to come up later on in the show, and you can currently see him on your television screens in HBO's Lovecraft Country, and that is executive produced by Jordan Peele. We love Jordan Peele. How many of you didn't love Get Out? Get Out. I loved that film. Also, you can catch Demetrius Gross on NBC's The Brave and Game of Silence, and also Cinemax's Banshee and Saving Mr. Banks. Don't you just love a black actor who continues to work? So I'm just really curious to pick his brain. Like, how do you stay in this whole white space of Hollywood as a black actor and still find consistent work? What are those down times like? What are those high times like? So you can also catch him in blockbuster films, Straight Outta Compton. Who didn't love Straight Outta Compton? Chronicled NWA, one of my favorite groups of, no, I'm not gonna lie. That's not one of my favorite groups of all time. But what I can say about NWA, I remember in the 90s when they hit the scene, they really shifted the culture. The West Coast music in such a way that it made everyone here in New York pay attention. They are icons, but they aren't one of my favorite rap groups of all time. I can't say that, but I do have a real affinity and love for Dr. Dre and also Ice Cube. Rest in peace to, what was the lead rapper's name? Easy E. That's right. That's right. That's right. You rest in peace to him. You can also catch actor Demetrius Gross in the blockbuster film Rampage, starring opposite Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And then also Demetrius Gross, I don't know if they finished filming and they're in post-production right now, but he is going to be starring in an upcoming Paramount film called Body Cam with R&B living legend Mary J. Blige and Anika Noni Rose. I'm curious what that's about. Maybe it's self-explanatory. Body Cam, with this whole Black Lives Matter and, just forcing the police to be totally transparent in their interactions with the general public, specifically Black people, people of color. We are forcing law enforcement to wear body cameras. So maybe this is what this film is about, but when Demetrius Gross joins us later on in the show, I'm sure that he will shed some light on that so that we can all flock to the theaters and show Hollywood that we support Black films. So I'm curious to pick his brain about that. But coming up in just a few short moments, I have LaShonda and Dre from OWN TV's season 2 of Family and Fiance. How many of you have seen that show? Like I said, it's called Family or Fiance. It's on the OWN network, season 2. I've been watching every single episode since it premiered. So we are now in the second season. So if you have yet to watch this show, I'm telling you that you should. So for those of you who have yet to watch the show, let me just give you a brief synopsis of what this show is about. So a couple is engaged to be married, and their family and or friends have a problem with their relationship and they feel that they should not be married. So the family and the friends and the couple, they are sequestered in a lovely, lovely kind of mansion, like not really a big home, very, very nice home, shishi fufu home. And they have to complete these certain tasks. Some of the tasks are maybe the lady, she is about to cook, the bride to be, she's about to cook dinner with the groom's family, and they can ask her all types of questions. And the same thing goes for the groom as well. Even though I love the show, I could never be on that show. And I'll tell you why. I don't feel in my personal relationships, who I date, who I want to marry, I don't think that it's any business of my family or friends. And I'm going to share a personal story with you. And then when I get them on the line, I will, repeat the same personal story. I remember in my 20s where I was madly in love, engaged, and my family and my friends had a whole lot to say about my relationship. And I kind of blame myself for this as well, because you know how we do, ladies, let's be honest about this. When things go wrong in our relationships, we tell everything. We tell everything. We don't say, all of the good parts, but we definitely say all of the bad parts. And because of me sharing, a lot of my personal relationship stories, they felt that they had access or permission to voice their opinions. And because they felt that way, they eloquently always voiced their negative concerns and opinions. And it kind of made the relationship end. It wasn't the only reason. There were other situations that kind of made the relationship go into demise. But just having family and friends just give their personal opinions about should I get married, I'm not sure. But, for those who are on this show, Family or Fiance, kudos to you. It takes a lot of strength to just kind of bite your tongue and hear what everyone has to say. So we're just going to jump right into this conversation, because I'm curious as to why these two amazing Black melanin dope kings and queens decided to be on the show. So LaShonda and Dre, are you on the line?
Yes, we're here.
Hi, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to talk to you, because as I was telling my listeners and viewers, since season 1, episode 1, I've been tuned into every single episode of Family or Fiance. Now, before we get started with this conversation, do you prefer to be called by your government names or your nicknames, ASAP, The Mogul, and Lala?
Man, everybody just usually calls me ASAP or Dre.
Okay, well, I'm going to call you Dre. Is that okay?
Cool.
And what about you, LaShonda? Do you prefer to be called LaShonda or Lala?
I, for the most part, go by Shonda. My first name is LaShonda, but a lot of people call me Shonda.
Okay, gotcha. So I'll call you Shonda. Okay, so we could be like family now, right?
That's cool.
Okay. Now, I do know that your episode on OWN TV's Family or Fiance premieres tonight, but by the time this episode airs, for my viewers and my listeners, we'll already have found out, whether or not you decided to stay together. And also stalking your Instagram page, I found out that you already got married. So congratulations to the both of you.
Hey, son, we're having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. It sounds like there's a big echo.
It sounds like okay, engineer, they said it sounds like there's an echo with the sound. I don't hear an echo on my end as well. Yeah, I don't know. It may be something with your phone because we're also tuning into the live stream and I have my headphones on and I don't hear the echo. Do you still hear it? Hello, can you still hear the echo or is the audio good now?
It sounds like you have us on like a speakerphone. I'm sorry. We can barely make out what you're saying.
Okay, so can you do this? Can you just hang up and then call right back again? Can we try that?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's cool.
let's
Hold
do
on
that.
one
Okay.
second.
All right. So we're just going to give them a few moments to call back. There was just some feedback on their end. I don't know. And just before we went on live on the show, we were talking about cell phones. If you're team Android or team iPhone, I'm team Android. I'm thinking about crossing over to the other side. I'm not sure. So hit me up on my Instagram, my social media, and it is Sanya_on air. And just tell me your thoughts. Tell me if I should stay with my Android or should I go to team iPhone. So Shonda and Dre, are you on the line? And can you hear me?
Yeah, we're here.
Is the sound better now?
Kind of sounds the same. We can make out what you're saying a little bit better.
Oh.
But it just sounds like.
Oh wow, that sucks.
It sounds like you might be kind of far away from the phone. I'm not sure what's happening.
No, I'm talking on a microphone. How does that sound now? Is that a little bit better?
Yeah. Let's.
Okay, good. We're just going to try to make this work. Okay. But like I was saying, I know that your episode premieres tonight, but by the time this edition of Sanya On Air airs, people will have already found out that you two decided to stay together and you got married. So I just want to say congratulations on your nuptials and getting married this past summer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I'm a sucker for love stories, especially Black love. So I'm curious on how the two of you met. Now, I just want to ask Dre that question because how men answer the how we met story is totally different from how women answer it. So, Dre, how did you two meet?
Oh, yes.
How did you two meet?
Yeah. Well, like when we always talk about this, we go back and forth about how we met. Like my version is always gonna be different from hers.
Yeah,
but she basically slid in my DMs.
If you don't stop lying.
Shonda, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you something. My boo snack right now, we've been, back and forth in a relationship. It's been like over 25 years. And I was the one who hollered at him. He was clear across campus. And I was like, hey, you with the red hat, come here for a second. So if you slid in his DMs, there's nothing wrong with that. So continue the story, Dre. Go ahead.
Yeah, I say she slid in my DM. She has a slight bit different story.
First off, we have the same story. It's just he didn't remember we had already met. He is starting off with, hey, since I didn't remember you from that time, that don't count. And it's like, that does count because we wouldn't have even had each other's information had that first encounter not happened.
It does count, Dre.
So she remembered me, from our first encounter. And, from then on, I actually threw a watch party. It was the Mayweather and Conor McGregor watch party fight. And, I put it out there like, hey, I'm throwing a private watch party. If you guys want to come out, anybody want to come out, it's exclusive. It's going to be free food and free alcohol. But it's like as soon as she heard free food, she was like, I'm in there.
No, wait, Dre. When you said free food or free alcohol, I was like, yeah, I would have been in there too trying to, catch you.
Yeah, exactly.
So go ahead.
So she came through. Well, actually, she that's when she slid when she heard about the free food.
Him and his lies.
And then she came through, and I was impressed, by how she looked and how she carried herself, and after the fight was over, we were like, hey, where y'all about? I was like, hey, where y'all gonna go? And she was like, we're gonna go to some club, and I was like, nah, I need to come with me. And that's when she kind of goes into her version of the story.
My version?
I want to hear your version, Shonda. Let's hear your version, the real version.
When me and him met, he was on the tail end of a relationship, and so was I. Okay. I went out with a mutual friend that him and I have, and that's how we were introduced. I had just kind of got into Dallas real estate, so everybody that I met, I was like, hey, let's exchange social media information just to get my name out there. Right. That particular night, I sent my social media to him and the other 6 people I met. Let him tell it. She slid in the DM. Right. I copy and pasted the same message to everybody. Don't feel special. So from that moment on, over the next 6 weeks, we liked each other's pictures. Right. We would laugh in each other's DMs, strictly platonic. So when the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight came up, he posted exclusive watch party. DM if you want the address, and I'll decide whether or not I let you know where it's at. Wow. So I sent some looking eyes like, hey, where's this at? He was like, he told me where it was, and I was like, oh, okay, I might decide to come out, and that's when he threw the free food. Hey, I am coming. Right. So me and my cousin went to that party, still strictly platonic, nothing flirtatious or anything like that. I'm getting ready to leave, and he did ask, hey, where y'all going? I told him where I was going. He had the most arrogant personality to me when we first met. Oh, my God. It was such a turnoff. He was like, oh, no, y'all don't need to go there. Come to my little club. Like, come to my club. Like, throwing off, like, the place I'm going wasn't nothing. So I follow him and his little group of people. We all get there. The line is wrapped around the building twice. So I'm like, okay, we finna be in line. Oh, I don't do lines. Watch it. Like, everything he done was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but she didn't wait in line.
Right. I didn't.
And she been here ever since.
Right. Go to the club.
Right. It must have worked, right, Dre?
Shot after shot.
Wow.
Yep.
I love it.
We had a couple shots, and we've been together ever since.
I love it. So how long ago was that?
Almost 3 years now.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, just real quick, are you two in your 20s or your 30s?
Woo, that's a good question.
She's in her early 30s.
I'm 32. He's 33.
I'm 33.
Okay, all right. You got the good black, the black that don't crack. All right, you look sexy. I see your pictures. Okay. But tell us, how did you decide that you wanted to be one of the cast members on OWN TV's Family or Fiance? How did that happen?
You asked how did we get onto Family or Fiance?
Yes. How did you get on the show?
So we had done a photo shoot, and every time we have been constantly posting couples pictures together. Well, our engagement photo shoot that we took, it went viral. Oh. And a lot of the brides to be, newlyweds, and engaged websites kept reposting us and picking us up. Well, the production company that does the show teams up with those type of sites to find engaged couples. But when they seen us on there, they actually hit us up. And one of the engagement sites had posted, hey, it's a casting for Family or Fiance. And for whatever reason, just a lot of people that had seen us on that page just started tagging our names. That's what brought our attention to the production company, and they actually contacted us. We actually had 3 of the casting directors from the production company contact us, and they didn't even know that the other recruiters were contacting us. So we had one hit us, and 7 hours later, the other one hit us, and then 24 hours later, I was like, okay, everybody at this production company likes us, and they didn't even know that, their coworkers were all interested in the same couple.
Wow. So when they started contacting you, were you both on board with getting on the show, or did you have to, one had to convince the other?
I think we had to really think about it and have a really serious talk about, is this the route we want to go? Because, I've done television before, and I know how television, and she hasn't. So I kind of know going into it what it's going to be like. Okay. And, so we had a long talk, and we were like, you know what, we want to use this in order to push our narrative and our message, which is basically, we're not perfect. People talk about couple goals and they want to be like the Jay-Z and Beyonce or whoever it may be.
Right.
And, everyone sees the outcome. Everyone sees the highlight reel, but you don't see like all the things they had to go through to get there to the point they're at today.
That is so true.
And we're really big on our spirituality. We're really big in the church, and we know that there's a big void in the culture when it comes to that aspect, and just real Black love couples really coming together and being a power couple. So
that's true.
That's where. Yeah, that's how we really want to use this platform, and we're doing it now.
I love it. So, Dre, what television show were you on previously before you got a spot on Family or Fiance?
Well, I was on 106 in Park with BET for 4 years. I was the resident DJ for 106 in Park.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I did that. I was the one that actually shut down the last show when the show got canceled, when it went off air. So I was there for 4 years.
Wow. And you were living here in New York, I'm assuming. You were here living in New York, yes?
Well, no, I was actually still living in Dallas, but the way the production is set up, I would fly out basically every other week to film.
Oh, nice.
To New York. So I'm very, very well versed in New York.
Yeah.
Jersey and all that.
Yeah, I'm a New York girl, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So we got a little swag to us. So I'm sure you were loving New York every time you flew.
Man.
But I'm glad that you spoke about the highs and the lows and the ebbs and the flows of relationships. Like I was telling my viewers and listeners, I've been in this relationship for, let's say, 25, 26 years. And, there's so many highs and lows. And, when you go to social media, you never see the low part. You only see, like you said, relationship goals. So when you two were in the house, sequestered for 3 days, okay, what family members or what friends were a part of the conversation trying to give you their blessings before you decided to say, I do?
Well, it was basically, we went to the house. It's 3 of my family members, 3 of her family members.
Okay.
So it was my mom, my sister, and my best friend, who's more like my brother, Brandon. And then on her side, it was
my dad and 2 of my sisters.
Wow. So how was that experience? Because I'm going to be tuned into the show tonight. I'm going on a little trip, but I will go upstairs to my hotel room to watch this show so I can, relate it back to this conversation. What was that experience like, having your family and your friends all in your personal business talking about your relationship and if they would give their blessings so that you can get married? What was that like?
It was irritating.
I can only imagine. Go ahead.
It was irritating. For one, like, our families never had issues with us being together. They never had issues, with each other. It was just more so concerns. And certain concerns that some of them had were things that we're kind of private when it comes to certain things, and not necessarily private, like, we don't let people know
we
stuff.
Just say to ourselves.
We just say to ourselves, and we kind of do our own thing. And if you're on the outside and looking in, anybody that, regardless if you know us or not, you're going to see, okay, single, divorced mom of 2, and urban, single, no kid having DJ, how the heck do those 2 worlds come together? Right. So there's just common issues that anyone would have looking at a situation like that from the outside in. And although they know a lot about us, because they're not there for the everyday functionality of what our day-to-day activities and what our day-to-day life is like, it raised questions on, well, how are you going to handle this? And I know how you used to be when it came to this, so how is it going to be moving forward with that? You know what I'm saying? So it was more some of those types of questions and situations.
Wow. So their questions to you, did it kind of made you question your relationship?
No, not at all. My question, for me, when I heard some of their questions, it made me question, wow, how good does my family really know me? Because sometimes people you can go through something And that's what people are going to always see you for. Right. That's why when you hear the saying, oh, I don't look like what I've been through, I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to look like the depression and the sadness and the anxiety. I'm supposed to look like something different because I conquered that situation. And I think that there are just certain things about me that I had the opportunity to evolve and grow and take flight in. And they're seeing this new relationship still holding on to previous transgressions that I had in previous relationships, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So like I said, I haven't seen the show yet. It will premiere tonight. But let's just assume that both sides of your families told you that they did not give you their blessing. Did you two go into the show filming with the intent that no matter what's said, no matter what's done, damn it, we're about to get married and I don't give a damn what they say? Or did you really want to go into the show taking their feedback into consideration whether or not you should say I do?
Well, for us, it was more so like before we even went into it, we automatically knew that it's always going to be about us. Like our family and our friends and sisters, brothers, moms, dads, like they're going to have their opinion, but we know at the end of the day what we want, and I know who I want to be with. She knows who she wants to be with. So the blessing wasn't really a thing for me. I never needed anyone's blessing to marry Shonda. I already knew in my head that that's what I was going to do. And, you know, of course, people are going to have questions and concerns. Like she said, you know, I came into this relationship without any kids, and now I have 2 little girls of my own. So, you know, of course, people, when there are kids involved in her family, are definitely going to have some concerns. Like, who is this man? And how is he going to be a good father to the girls? And, you know, as long as we've had our relationship, we've had our communication, we've always been great. And, you know, it's always been natural for us. So without, you know, having it to me, like I said, I don't need people's blessings to do what I know that God already has for my life. So I always, you know, we kept it. But I think it was more so we just wanted to make sure everyone was good, everyone can get their concerns out, and everyone could communicate effectively what their concerns are, and we addressed them.
Wow. So if you could do it all over again and they invited you back on the show to revisit where you are now, would you do it?
So hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting this right, because based off of how you asked that question is a different answer. If I had to do the process over again, would I do it again? Or if they asked me to come back on and do it now, would I do a spinoff? Which one is it?
Let's answer both of those questions. If you could do it all over again, would you? And if you could go back to the show. Go ahead.
If I had to do this process all over again, no. The only way I would have redone this process is if I would have known then what I know now, then yes, I would have been prepared for certain things. Now that I've been through a reality TV situation, and I'm talking about not even just the drama, not my family, his family. I'm talking about the production company. I'm talking about the foundation of what filming a reality TV show is about. If I would have known those things that I know now, then I could do it because I'm prepared. But I'm a rookie, and even for him, he's a rookie for something like this. We've never done anything like this, so it was an eye-opening experience for us. Now, moving forward, would I do anything else reality? Absolutely, but it would be my narrative. It would be something that I have control over. It would be my show.
Got you. Now, I know sometimes money can be the root of all evil for any relationship, and I'm not sure if you two had discussions about a prenup or if you do have a prenup, but let's say if Dre went to you, Shonda, with the prenup, how would you have handled that situation? And did he?
That wouldn't have been a good conversation at all. What?
Why not?
When I met Dre, we were both in 2 different financial situations. And the things that he's doing now, I have helped participate in building that up. And he also knows on the backside a lot of things he's helped to build me up in. So what fairness would it be for you to say, hey, you going to help me pour into this, and if something never happened, I might give you half. No, you're not either. And I think that when you put a prenup on something, for me personally, and I've been married before, so I feel like I can say this. When you put a prenup on it, it's kind of like you're giving yourself
an out.
A way out. If you're having a discussion about it being over, and really, I don't want to think about the end till the end comes. Let's think about how to keep it going and how to keep it forever lasting, because a prenup gives you comfort in if something happens. I know you ain't getting this. Right. No, you need to think about losing your family and losing half your house and losing half. You need to think about those things, because those are real things that come with splitting away from somebody. And if you ain't got that, if you don't have that stipulation on your mind, you're going to be, in my opinion, more tempted to go out and do something stupid because you feel like you covered.
Do you feel the same way, Dre?
Yeah, I don't think, for me, a prenup was ever even a question for us, because, like she said, like, we built everything we have today, we built it up ourselves. Like, when we first started together, like, you know, she was still working a regular job, you know, working a 9-to-5, and me, I've always been an entrepreneur. And of course, as an entrepreneur, you're always going to have your ups and your downs. But when we got together, you know, I noticed that she was always like, she'd be stressed out about her job. She'd be, you know, like constantly, you know, just upset about things that are going on at work. And then I made sure, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take her from this. I'm going to take her from this stress that she has, and actually put her in a situation that she is now, in order not to have to be going to work, not to have a boss. Like, she's her own boss now.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, I was making a lot of money at my job, so it wasn't even the financial aspect. Right. It was literally, you know, wanting to spend more time with my kids, wanting to spend more time with him. And his biggest thing, too, he can sit here and act like, oh, I want to take her away from the stress. He also wanted to take me away from having another man call the shots in my life. You work for somebody.
Right.
It's like that comes first. It would be times when him and I would make plans to go take the kids bowling or do this. And because my boss knows I do this the best, even though it's not my description, hey, I need you to stay late and do this, or I need you to do this conference call. And it affected us in ways, my mood, my attitude, I'm tired. It took away from what we had going. I was like, this is not what we're going to do.
I like that. Dre, you better come through with, you know, like the husband you are, and say, you know what, I'm going to take away the stress that my wife is experiencing so that she could be more participating in this relationship. I love that. So message for all you men listening in. But, you know, I just have
but he actually...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He actually done that
I'm listening.
He actually done that before we got married.
Oh, okay. I love that. So you didn't even have to wait until he made it official and made you his wife. He already knew that you were going to be his wife and treated you as such. Love it. And I'm definitely here for it. I know we do have to close out this segment really soon, but I do have another question for you. During the filming of the show, what was one of the most surprising things that the both of you learned about each other?
Ooh, I'm going to let him go first on this one.
Man. One of the most surprising things I learned about her from this process, I'd probably say just the passion she has. She is a really passionate person when it comes to, like, protecting her family, protecting her peace, protecting her everything around her. And if anything, you know, bothers that or potentially could ruin that, you know, she's like guns blazing when it comes down to protecting that. So she's very, you know, she has a bubble. And if you start messing that bubble up, man, like it's off with your head.
Right. Pop goes that bubble. I get it. Now, the same question for you, Shonda. What was the most surprising thing that you learned about Dre during the process?
Oh, wow. I learned a lot of different things. Let me think of which one I want to talk about. I think that one of the most eye-opening things for me was to realize how much he hates conflict. And how sometimes, although knowing what decision needs to be made, it can be hurtful sometimes to have to hit something super big and have to tackle something head on at a fast rate. And like he said, for me, hey, you messing with this, or you trying to penetrate my peace, my happiness, up off with you, I'm done.
Right.
And for him, he's not able to make those decisions at the same pace that I am. And I guess that because we're so in sync with different, with so many things, I didn't think that would have been one of our differences. So I discovered that in certain situations, his hesitation doesn't necessarily mean what I take it as to be.
Right.
It takes him a little longer to process things than it does for me sometimes.
Yeah.
So that was an eye-opening thing for me.
I get it. That's the same thing with my mate too. He's very, very reserved. I'm the firecracker out of us two, but I had to get to a place of understanding that his silence equaled his strength as well. So strength shows up in so many different ways, and we just have to learn how to see behind the curtain. I wish you two nothing but continued success, and just continue to illustrate the Black love on social media as well as in real life. I think we need more examples like you two, bringing your differences together. I will be tuned in to OWN TV tonight to watch Family and Fiance. For all of my viewers and listeners who want to continue following you, can you please give me your social media handles on Instagram?
Yeah, make sure you follow me at ASAP the Mogul, ASAPTHEMOGUL. That's on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it may be. You can also check us out at themogulbehavior.com. That's our website. And
for me, you can follow me on social media. My name is So_Lala. So is SOO_LALA. It is the So Lala on Twitter and LaShonda Stamil on Facebook.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shonda and Dre. You were a pleasure to talk to. You made me smile throughout this entire conversation. And like I said, I wish you nothing but continued blessings and much success. Thank you so much for blessing this show.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Black love. Blackity black. Black. That's when you get real black. Blackity black. Black love will always have a place on this show, even when it isn't celebrated and acknowledged through the world at large. So like I said, I'm telling you, please tune in every single Saturday, I believe, Saturday evening to OWN TV's Family or Fiance. It really shows you the highs and the lows of relationships, because if we just count on social media, you would think that every relationship doesn't argue, they don't have their mishaps and circumstances, that it's just black love all day long and black love is always happy. Let me tell you something. Black love has its arguments too. And notice how I always included the word love. Even throughout the arguments, black love will always remain. So make sure that you check out Shonda and Dre, like they said they prefer to be called. It is, by the time this show airs, this edition of Family or Fiance would have already aired on OWN, but you can definitely catch it on demand. If I miss it on the live show, I always go back on demand. Usually Sunday. That's usually either my Saturday night if I'm not out partying, doing what we do here in Brooklyn. I always catch it on demand on Sunday. Shout out to Oprah too, because I remember when she first launched OWN TV. Damn it, you couldn't find anything on demand at all. She was like, listen, if you don't catch the live premiere of whatever show I just launched, I'm sorry for you. So I'm glad that she has enough content now where OWN TV is now on demand. But it was truly a pleasure speaking with both of those young adults. This is the second, let's count both of them as separate individuals. So 3 guests so far, the launch of season 7, who are a little hesitant to tell their ages. And they're still so young. Did you notice that? They're still so young. Honey, let me tell you something. As you get older, for those of you who are tuning in, you may be in your 20s or your 30s, embrace your age. I remember, when I was a kid, and talking to individuals who were, let's say, in their 40s or 50s, we kind of looked at them like they were old. Now I'm in this whole space of being in my 40s. I feel so young. I feel so vibrant. I think it's what you make it. Let me be honest. I've seen some 40-something-year-olds, and they look like they're in their 60s. I'm telling you, you better moisturize and drink lots of water and just keep drama out of your life. That's the answer. That's the secret. People ask me, how do you maintain? I had to throw off a lot of cheap luggage off of this luxury airplane so that my luxury airplane can kind of soar higher. I definitely drink lots of water. If I drink juice or soda, that's a treat for me that happens, let's say, once every couple of weeks or once every couple of months. But I'm telling you, it's all about living a stress-free life. Let me frame that a little bit better, because it doesn't say that I don't have stress. Damn it, I got stress in my life every single day. But it's really about how I handle it. I've gotten to the point now, and I'm not going to tell you the person who stresses me out the most every single day, but it's gotten to the point that when they stress me out, I really start laughing uncontrollably. I mean, laughing to the point where I have to hold my stomach because it's hurting and tears are coming out of my eyes. And when I tell you, that makes them even more angry because I'm hysterical with laughter. I'm just like, I'm not sweating the small shit anymore, because the things that they're arguing about, I'm like, really? You choose to argue about that? And then what even gets them more riled up, I'll scream out, "Demon, I rebuke thee." Oh, they really hate that part. Or I'll start quoting Bible scriptures. When you match negativity with positivity, I'm telling you that negativity will go away like a wounded animal, because you're really showing them how ridiculous that they look. So when stress and drama and negativity comes your way, I'm telling you, don't internalize it at all. Life is too short. Life is too short to be arguing about something that was so stupid. And then what really confirmed that for me, I had a dream recently. This dream was scary as I don't know what. I was going to say another curse word, but that was a strong curse word. Sometimes a curse word just feels really good. Just how it rolls around in your mouth and comes, across your tongue and on your lips. Ooh. Yeah, I have a dirty mind. I do have a dirty mind. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I had this dream, right? That I was driving, and road rage, we all fall victim to it at some point in time, especially if you live in major cities like here in New York City. And anyway, I was driving and someone cut me off, and they parked their car, but Brooklyn me, I park my car and I get out and I follow them into their backyard. And when I follow them in the backyard, I wanted to comment on why they just cut me off. It was like a whole backyard full of, it was like this ritual going on. You can tell that they were very evil and negative. And then all of these demons just came out of the backyard, and it turned into this Chinese movie flick, and we're fighting. It's like me against, like 5 or 10, demons. And I was just like, oh my gosh, there's too many of them. But I just kept fighting. And I was like, I'm going to win. And then, I remember huffing and puffing. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? I should just mind my damn business. But I just followed them into their backyard, and I went into somebody else's backyard thinking I was going to bring my energy. They already had their energy all set up, and they was like, oh, no, you won't. So that just reminded me, mind your motherfucking business. I say all that to say, mind your motherfucking business, okay? How dare I get out my car, follow someone in their backyard thinking that I'm going to tell them off? So it goes back to what I was saying. Let me bring it back full circle. Embrace your age, and you can grow older gracefully by eliminating stress and not internalizing it, and drinking lots of water and moisturizing. How about that? So just coming up in just a few short moments, I'm crossing my fingers that actor Demetrius Gross will join us. Like I said, he's graced a lot of television shows, a lot of blockbuster films. He will star in an upcoming film called Body Cam with the living legend Mary J. Blige and Anika Noni Rose. I just want to know, how does he stay acting in Hollywood, where the Black narrative, there often isn't a space for that? So I just want to kind of pick his brain. And he's really had some impressive formal training that not a lot of individuals are afforded. And I'm always using this word. I didn't realize I was using this word a lot until I started listening and looking at the show. I say the word space a lot. This space, because we really have to understand this space that we are in. The space, like I said, in Hollywood, where it is oh so white, where when every major award show comes on, let's say like the SAG Awards, the Oscars, we always keep talking about Hollywood oh so white. So when I find an actor such as Demetrius Gross, who has been blessed to fill that space with some melanin magic, some blackity black, I'm here for it, because crack is whack. I just wanted to rhyme a little bit. So, like I said, I hope that he will be joining us. I didn't even realize it was this late at all. So we may not even have time for a full conversation with him. But going back to the onset of the show, like I said, I wanted to launch, I am going to speak positivity in your life, okay? Like when people tell me, I'm trying, I always say, trying does not make a woman. She can and will succeed, so you will do. Message. That's a word. All right. So what I will do coming up on, I don't know how many shows before I launch this new segment called Hollywood Chronicles. Like I said, send me all of your stories via email, SanyaHudson@she.company, or you can DM me on Instagram. It's Sanya_on air. You spell Sanya, Sanya, not Sony. I think, I believe that's Sonia, because I'm just like a word person, and the S-O, that's so. But a lot of people, when they pronounce my name, it's S-A, but they still call me Sonia. I don't know. Like I said, I'm really like a word maverick. I was one of those individuals. I would always read the dictionary, underline words that I didn't know, and incorporate them into my everyday language. So send me your Hollywood Chronicles, your celebrity encounters, type them up, and let me know. Did you see a celebrity? Did you run up on them? Did they engage you in conversation? Did they ignore you and roll the eyes? Funny story. Funny story. So I went to this Comedy Icon Award. I was covering media for, I believe it was 2 years ago. And every major Black comedian was in the building. And I was walking through the dining hall, very, very shishi foo-foo, by the way. Walking through the dining hall, and I saw Paul Mooney. If you don't know Paul Mooney, legendary. I mean, he wrote for Sanford and Son. He wrote for Richard Pryor. Big OGs. So this time I'm going to connect the big OGs to little OGs. So make sure that you go and research who Paul Mooney is. So I was just like, oh my gosh. I had ran into every other celebrity comedian. I was like, we did some footage and all those things, some interviews. But Paul Mooney, I was like, icon. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to say something to him. And he was seated at a table with other celebrities, and he was eating dinner. And I was just, standing by, maybe like 5 feet away, just waiting for my end. And I was waiting and waiting. I was like, damn it, he just gonna keep talking. And if I don't insert myself into this conversation, I'm just gonna be ass out. And I never wanna be in a room with people that I wanna connect with and let my anxiety, let my fear, get in the way, and then I miss the opportunity. So push forward. That's another word and message. So anyway, so I tapped him on the shoulder. I bent down. I'm just like, hi, Mr. Mooney. Can we have a brief conversation for the cameras? Child, when I tell you the look of blackly black anger that Paul Mooney gave me, he turned around like the exorcist. And he looked me up and down and he said, don't you see that I'm in the middle of a conversation? And I said, and don't you realize that I only got one shot and this is it. And I'm shooting my shot. So he looked at me and he could tell that I was so serious. And he understood the struggle of getting in where you fit in. And when I tell you that Antarctica ice, it melted like a hot summer day in Red Hood Projects in Brooklyn. That's how you know it's hot. That's how you know it's hot. And he started to smile. And he said, okay, I get it. I get it. And I said, yeah, Paul, I was getting too comfortable then. I'm like, yeah, Paul, I hope that you do get it. Because if I had missed this opportunity to have a conversation with you on camera, what type of journalist would I be? And he said, damn it, you're right. And we had the best conversation that I think I've had with a few of the celebrities. There's, so many celebrities that I've had great conversations with. Let's talk, for example, Miss Chalet. From the 90s, just bringing back the whole NWA conversation from the onset of the show. She blessed my show a few years ago, and she's going to be on this season's edition of Celebrity Marriage Boot Camp on WE TV as well. So I'm going to try to get her back on the show because it'll be great to figure out what she's doing now. And that was another one of the most gracious and humbling and funny, because I think she was on a little something, but that's another story. So if you ever want to archive any of my Sanya On Air shows, like I told you, make sure that you download all streaming platforms, and make sure you hit that subscribe button too on Spotify, on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, on Google Play Music, on YouTube. Did I say Buzzsprout as well? If I didn't, I repeat it again. So what? But there are so many dope celebrity conversations that I've had. I just want to tap into your celebrity experiences to add to the latest edition segment of Sanya On Air, Hollywood Chronicles. So let me know about your experiences. And like I said, I'll read them over. And the most exciting ones, the ones that give me the visuals in my head, I love reading stories where the images kind of pops up in my head. So be as, creative, as whimsical as you like. Tell the damn truth, though. Because those are the type of stories that I will read live on air so that we can all experience this whole space of celebritydom and Hollywood and not make it so white. You can give me your celebrity experiences of white people too. Like we don't discriminate, on this show. Like I said, just the whole platform of this show, Sanya On Air, is about celebrities. So I don't care. He's black, he's white. Shout out to Michael Jackson. If you can't tell, I'm so animated. This is what being on this show does for me. It really just brings out the best in my personality. Very, very animated, very, very theatrical. So like I said, also, if you are an indie artist and you want to align your brand with this brand and get your brand in front of this whole celebrity space, Hollywood, because every single guest that's on this show, the guests are tuned in, those celebrities, and also they're Hollywood and celebrity agents as well. So we have the publicists, they're now tuned in LA for today's guest because, after the show airs, I get on the phone with the celebrity publicists and we kind of I give some feedback on their client's persona while I'm interviewing them or having conversations. There's been I just started this recently. This is difficult, but I have to push through and say it. It was hard. I would have conversations with some celebrities and I'm smiling and I'm grinning and I'm cracking jokes. But in my head, I was like, damn it, they are boring as fuck. And I'm telling you, most recently, I couldn't do it anymore. So I started to call the celebrities' publicists on the phone. And I'm just like, listen, we've built this relationship for quite some time over the past few years. And I just want to, create an opportunity where I'm giving you some feedback on your clients. Because back in the dizzy, right? Let's say the 70s, 80s, or 90s, I don't really know about, Hollywood space in the 70s or 80s, only from what I watched. I think I really joined the culture as the music changed for me and my mental kind of matured. So in the 90s, something about the 90s I love. But, celebrities had to go through, let's say, artist development, right? How to interview. That was common back then. Nowadays, not common at all. Celebrity client pays for the publicist. Having a publicist is expensive too. I had a publicist who was charging me $10,000 a month. She did not understand me. She did not look like me. I had a picture in the background, and she was like, "Why is your friend in the picture?" I'm like, "That's a picture of President Barack Obama." She was like, "Oh, you need to change this. You need to talk this way to prepare for Hollywood," because they were preparing me for a television talk show. And I was like, "This lady does not understand me at all." But she didn't give me any training except telling me who she wanted me to be. So I think that we need to really get back to a place where, and I'm holding myself responsible for this. Whenever I have a celebrity guest on the show, I'm not, I'm going to push through with the conversation, the interview, but I'm getting their publicist on the phone afterwards, and I'm telling them, your client was boring as fuck, and you need to have a conversation with them. You need to do some interview training, because we can't keep pretending like it's okay for them to be in the space, because we have to encourage and we have to uplift one another, especially when the people seated at the table in Hollywood don't want to create a table or pull up a chair for us. So we got to make sure that we're ready. And we can't be ready if we're not holding each other accountable and challenging one another to be the absolute best self. So that's what I'm doing from this point on. If an interview is boring, I'm calling their publicist on the phone. I'm like, your client was very, very, very boring. But today's guest, Shonda and Dre, I really did enjoy them. And I hope that you enjoyed them too. And like I said, by the time this edition of Sanya On Air airs, their episode of Owns Family and Fiance, it will have already premiered, but you can definitely catch it on demand. So just tell me what you liked about it. Hit me up on my social media, especially on Instagram. It's Sanya_on air. And while you're doing that, like I said, miss a show, you definitely miss a lot. Make sure that you download, stream, and hit that subscribe button to all Sanya On Air major streaming platforms on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, and on my website, www.sanyaonair.com. So, Demetrius Gross, he didn't make this week's show. We might kind of rebook him for next week. I'm sure the publicist will, probably send me an email. Something must have happened. Maybe he's filming. That also happens on this show as well. Because it is celebrity guest, sometimes they're in the middle of filming, and sometimes they get a last minute call to be on set, and they can't make the show. But then I want to make sure that we get them on the show. So thank you so much for tuning in to another amazing, amazing edition of Sanya On Air, where I connect the big old G's to little old G's. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Smooches, dolls.